How to make your SAP project successful. So in a previous lesson, we were looking at what typically makes SAP projects fail, and we used this IDC survey result as the guiding principle to have that discussion. Let's now use the same result and look at how can we turn this around to make your project successful. Remember that we found that 9 out of the top 10 items was all related to the 3 P's: project management, processes, and people. If we fix these 3 P's, we will fix 9 of the 10 most common areas where project fails. So let's look at how we can fix these 9 areas. So to look at this, we want to introduce what we call a set of enablers for success. So the first enabler we have is that we need to hire a capable project manager. And that can be either done by upskilling, training existing project managers, engage experts, outsource. There's many ways, but we need to have a capable project manager. And we need to hire the person to our project. We also should have a PMO function on our project. And this is of course assumed that our project is of a certain size. So we assume that our project is a complicated, large-scale SAP transformation project, and as of such, we will have an enabler that says we should establish a PMO function. And the PMO function should be supporting the PM, and it should not be put in place as a policing function. It is a supporting function. So this is the second enabler we want to introduce. The third enabler is implementing of a project system. So we want to implement a project system that can be methodologies, tools, and most important, we need to make sure that in that project system, there is a rock solid scope change process. So that's our third enabler. Also, we have an enabler that says we want to adopt a proven SAP approach. It can either be SAP ASAP, which is the old accelerated SAP methodology. That is no longer what SAP promotes. Right now, they promote the methodology SAP Activate. If we are having an integration partner, they might have different flavors of methodologies that they are using, and it's typically one of these 2 methodologies from SAP that has been expanded or modified slightly for the system integrator. But most important here is the enabler that we have or we adopt a proven SAP approach. Also, an enabler we want to introduce is we want to make sure we embed change management. And it has to be organizational wide, and it has to include the component which is called a change board. We need to make sure that nothing happens without anyone is unaware, and we need to have change management both on the organizational level but also on basically a change board that is responsible for anything that happens within the project. So embedded change management. And finally, we need to make people focus a priority. And this is extremely important. We need to make sure that communication and stakeholder management is top of its class, and we need to have clear career paths for every single member on the project. We need to make people focus a priority. So these are 6 enablers that we have identified that is enablers for success. So how does these help with these 9 areas? Well, if we apply all of these 6 enablers, we will cover these 9 areas. We will be improving how these 9 areas function on our project. So if we break it down a little bit, and we had one of the areas that said poor project management. Poor project management, not a surprise, hopefully, is addressed by hiring a capable project manager onto the project, establishing PMO function, and implement a project system. With, of course, the hiring of a capable project manager for our project, the key enabler. This is mandatory. Without this, we will not be able to address this area. Hopefully that is clear to everyone. Also, we can group the different areas differently. So we can say these 5 areas here marked in green is all related to people and change management. So how can we address this? Again, we want to have a capable project manager. Why? Because the project manager is the one often that needs to drive some of the change. Even if we have dedicated change managers and change team, the project manager has a stake in driving the change. So we must have the capable project manager hired or onboarded onto our project. We should also adopt a proven SAP approach. Why? Because those proven approaches normally have SAP or change management tailored for SAP projects built in. We also want to make sure we embed the change management organizational wide. So these 3 enablers will help us address the 5 green highlighted areas on the left. Also, we can break it down in a different lens. We can say we have one that says lack of skills. So how do we address lack of skills? Well, again, it is the project manager. Why is the project manager important? Because at the end of the day, the project manager has a huge stake in building the team and onboarding the team. He or she has a say in who we bring on board. So that is key, that we have someone that is capable and that is knowledgeable in terms of bringing on the right people. And bringing on the right people is only one part of it. If we don't have people in focus or making people focus a priority, those good people that we will bring on will likely be demotivated and not help us drive things forward as we expected, or they might simply leave the project. So it's really important that we have the project manager, but also that the people focus is a priority. These 2 things goes hand in hand if you want to avoid having lack of skills. Also, we could say we have one that says scope expansion uncertainty. So how will we deal with this one? Well, scope expansion uncertainty, definitely we want to have a project system. Why? Because the methodologies, the tools, the scope change process will all help to bring transparency and clarity of what is going to happen and what will happen if there is a change or the scope suddenly have to be expanded or changed in any form, shape or form. And we also need to have the soft side of things. We need to have the change management, both the organizational change management effort, but also the change board. So these 2 enablers are critical if we want to address the scope expansion. Also, no horizontal process view. No horizontal process view. Well, again, here we want to focusing on the enablers implement project system as well as the methodology, because these will bring clarity. It will bring the tools, the methodology and the change process that will give you full transparency and thereby also give you that process view that you are looking for in this troublesome area. So this is how we can break down the different enablers to link to the different areas of where problems can happen and where project can fail. But there is one thing that is extremely important, and that is for success on all successful projects, all enablers are in play. A successful project requires all the enablers. So the business expectation is that we reduce cost time to value, we have an incremental approach to go live and adopt the solution, and we will start to adopt some of the on-cloud solutions for greater flexibility, and the enablers to make whatever project it is that is going to drive these benefits. We need all of the 6 enablers. If we have those, we will be reaching the finish line successfully and winning.